بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسوله المصطفى وعلى عباده الذين ارتضى ومن بهداهم اهتدى وبآثار أهل المدينة اقتفى وبعد فسلام الله عليكم جميعا and welcome back to another show of From the Mind of a Mufti. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us in the Quran a verse. He teaches us وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا كَافَّةً لِلنَّاسِ بَشِيرًا وَنَذِيرًا وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us whilst addressing us about the messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam that he has not sent the messenger except for entire humanity as somebody that will give them glad tidings and also warn them of something that is to come in the hereafter. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this word kafatan includes the entire humanity that is there, that was there, and that is to come till the day of judgment. Now, with this we have a very interesting point, which is the universality of Islam. That what Islam brought, the message that it has brought with it, is one that is eternal, one that will shape itself to fit and adapt comfortably with every country, every culture, every civilization there is to come. We find that the companions, where this message was first received, were of a particular culture, a particular people. The people of Hijaz, the people of the Arabian Peninsula. They had certain customs and conventions. They then took this deen and message to other parts of the globe, to other civilizations who had their own culture, their own conventions, and how Islam then had this flexibility and agility that would allow these other civilizations to flourish within this theological framework, within this understanding of this deen al-Islam. So we see where when Islam reached places like China, how they adopted, how they kind of shaped their own culture, if you like, within the deen of al-Islam. When it reached Western Europe, like Al-Andalus, within 1 century of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how they similarly kind of managed to adapt themselves, but within their culture, to al-Islam. We see sometimes many questions are raised today. People ask, they say things like, well, shouldn't there be this sense of uniformity amongst Muslims? Shouldn't all Muslims be, like, for example, have a particular uniform, cover their head, do a particular thing, dress in a particular way, have a certain type of... But what we have to understand is that Islam, wherever it went, it created that type of an Islam. There was, so to speak, there would have been an Andalusi phenomenon of Islam. There would have been a Maghribi, a Shami, a Sini, a Baghdadi, and so on. It's not about trying to take an Arabic culture and superimpose it upon the world. When the Muslims reached the Indian subcontinent and Islam was received there and it flourished for centuries to come, the Muslims of the Indian subcontinent had and drew upon their own culture which is radically different to the Arabian culture that was found in the Arabian Peninsula. Likewise, the Muslims of Western Europe in Al-Andalus, they had their own type of understanding. If you just take a look at, if we just take a look at things like even masajid, even the places of worship, how they were shaped, how each culture had kind of shaped their masajid slightly different to fit in within their local settings. How some of the masajid in China are similar to pagodas in some sense, and where some of the masjids in Al-Andalus were very similar to almost churches and things like, and other buildings, and in North Africa to a very distinct type of shape and setting they have for their masjids. All of this represents and reflects how Islam, where it went, it became part and parcel of that society. People that went to these places were not just exported Arabs that were living there. They were the Muslims of that place who were living in those societies as part and parcel of those societies. They were an integral part of those communities. As we found in the Indian subcontinent, and we found till today, I mean, it's not the Arabian culture there. As historically there was found in Northwest Africa, or in Western Europe, or Eastern Europe, where Islam reached, or even the Far East, like China and so on and so forth. I feel in a day and age like ours, these questions are being raised. And it is very important that we return to our sources. We return to the understanding of these verses. That inna arsalnaka kafa linnasi bashiran wa nadhira. That the message is for everybody, and there is this universality of this message. And how we understand that the companions, and after the companions, the tabi'een and the atba'u tabi'een, even for their day and age, were kind of introducing a new radical culture, a culture of learning in a very distinctively different way. But everybody was adapting for their day and age. The great muhaddith Shihab al-Din al-Zuhri, one of Imam Malik's teachers, his new methodology, if you like, he sat down and he started to teach hadith in a particular way that was almost unprecedented. But it was adapting to the challenges of their day and age. This is something for us to reflect upon. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all tawfiq to try and understand and grasp and comprehend these issues. May we initially try and become enlightened with these, and then take this understanding to others out there and beyond ourselves. Jazakumullah khair for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.